Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Save Point. Save Point is a podcast that wants to bring Bible-based reviews on video games. We will be judging on two main criteria, the quality of the game and the content of the game. Both will be scored on a scale of 1 to 5. Today's game, we'll be looking at Counter-Strike 2. Counter-Strike 2 is a competitive first-person shooter with 5 players on each team. The goal of the teams is to either plant or to defuse a bomb or kill the enemy team. First to 13 round wins the entire game. The two teams in the game are the terrorists and the counter-terrorists. The terrorist team's goal is to plant the bomb and then allow it to explode, or to kill the entire enemy team. The counter-terrorists' team goal is to either kill the entire enemy team to stop the planting of the bomb, or to defuse the bomb once it has been planted. Items in the game can make achieving these goals far easier. These items are called utility. Utility are different types of grenades that the player can deploy to achieve different things. Flashbangs are a grenade that is thrown to blind enemy players. But be careful, because these will also blind you and your teammates. Your teammates will not be thrilled if you blind them all with your own flashbang. Smokes are grenades that the player throws to obscure sightlines. When deployed, a smoke grenade will cover the surrounding area with smoke so enemies cannot see through it. Grenades are what you think. Grenades explode when you throw them when they land on the ground. Incendiary grenades are a piece of utility that will cover an area of the floor with fire so that enemies cannot stand on that space without taking damage. In Counter-Strike 2, players equip themselves with a loadout at the beginning of each round. A loadout consists of a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, armor, utility, a melee, such as a knife or whatever a skin would look like, and either a bomb for terrorists or a defuse kit for counter-terrorists. In Counter-Strike 2, there is a system that sets it apart from other shooters such as Call of Duty or Overwatch. This is the economy system. The economy system is where players are given a certain amount of money at the beginning of a round. The amount of money differs depending on what happened the previous round. A certain amount of money is given for whether the round is won or lost, and how many kills that player got in the previous round. This leads to what are called eco rounds, where if a team loses a few rounds in a row, they will not have the money to buy a full loadout, so they will have to go with a much cheaper primary weapon, use a secondary weapon as a primary weapon, buy less utility and less armor. This is a less effective loadout, but it can work and still win the round. There are 6 game modes in total: competitive, premier, casual, wingman, deathmatch, and hostage. Competitive is the base game previously described, with 5 players on each team. If you buy the premium edition of the game, you will be able to compete for different ranks. Premier is competitive but with slightly higher stakes and a bigger reward. You can get on a leaderboard in Premier if you are skilled enough. Casual is like competitive, but you have 10 players on each team and nothing is taken seriously. It is made as a warm-up and as for less serious players to be able to have fun in the game without taking it seriously. Wingman is like the base game, but there are only 2 players on each team and the maps are halved in size. The goal is still the same. Deathmatch is different from the other modes in the fact that their only goal is to just kill as many enemies as possible. Whoever gets the most kills at the end wins. Hostage is the most unique game mode in my opinion. Terrorists have hostages inside of a building, and as the counter-terrorists, you have to get the hostages out safely and uninjured. Counter-Strike sets itself apart from other shooters in the fact that strategy and information take a much larger role than in other games. In games such as the Battlefield franchise or BattleBit Remastered, numbers take on a much larger role, while in Counter-Strike, the skills of the individual player can decide whether the game is won or lost. As for the contents of the game itself, Counter-Strike 2 promotes teamwork and communication. It is also one of the oldest franchises in gaming, giving a window into the foundations of what we now know as the tactical shooter. On the con side, the focus of the game is to either kill the enemy team or to be a terrorist. The game lacks any sort of chat reporting feature. Now what this means is that if someone curses, uses inappropriate language, or says something inappropriate in general, you can report them so that they can be muted and that they will not be able to talk for the rest of the game or for time afterwards. This game does not have any sort of thing, so the best you can do is mute that player and they will probably continue to use that language even if you can't hear them and there are no bad side effects. There is little in this game in the way of anti-cheat. Anti-cheat simply exists to make sure that players cannot cheat at the game and keep it a fair experience for everybody. However, Counter-Strike does not have a very large or in-depth anti-cheat system, so cheaters will abound. You are warned now. The age of the game does make it difficult for a new player to pick up the game. And most annoyingly, the skins in the game are sold in cases so that there is a chance for you to get the skin you want in any given case. This does lead to an interesting situation in the game where there is a full-on gambling system where you have to put in a large amount of money in order to get the skin you want, especially if you want a knife. The skins in the game are also styled in such a way that depending on the type of the skin that you get, it could be worth a lot of money on the Steam marketplace where skins are sold in a full player-driven economy. At the time of writing, there is a skin going for over $2,000 for a bunch of pixels. It's not good. Overall, this game gets a content rating of 2 out of 5. The quality of the game has some major upsides. It looks very clean. The visuals are nice and crisp, and it's easy for computers to run. The game is well built, and therefore there are very little bugs in the game. However, Counter-Strike 2 is just a facelift of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The gameplay is the same. Everything just looks a bit neater. However, the game does have a fairly large size of about 85 gigabytes, and the graphics do leave some to be desired. The quality therefore gets a rating of 4 out of 5. Overall, Counter-Strike 2 gets a rating of 3 out of 5. As a final question, is this game friendly to new players? No, not really. With the age of the game, many people have been playing it for years and have mastered the game's movement and gunplay. And the movement and gunplay in this game are difficult to learn to begin with, as there is no tutorial. You're just kind of thrown in there willy-nilly. Therefore, it's not that easy to begin learning the game and become part of the community. Well, that about sums up this first episode of The Save Point. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and found its contents helpful. The Discord link is in the description. Thank you all for listening, and may the Lord bless you and give you peace.